How would you like to learn how to build deep rapport with people to make sure that they're going to be easy to work with? Would that be useful? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. Okay, so let's turn the page. We're on page 32 of your manuals. We're having a look at rapport. So the desired outcome is to be able to establish rapport with any person at any moment in time, consisting of trust, empathy, harmony, and mutual understanding. So the theory is, we talked about this, Jane mentioned this earlier, communication is made up of three components. We have physiology, which was spoken about. That is 55%. 55% of the communication being received is physiology. As we said, if someone walks into a room, you learn so much about them even before they've spoken. The next part of the communication you receive is tonality. So this is not their words, but then how they say it. Not the words, but how they say it. It's the same way when you've probably heard people say, I'm sorry. One way makes you feel like they actually do mean that they're sorry. Another way means that they're not really sorry, based on their tonality. And so tonality is 38%. And then finally, we have words, which is 7%. Now, I remember going through the corporate world, and in one part of my life, I was a sales manager, and we used to teach people, and I was taught that if you want to build rapport, you say whatever they say. So if they say they like Collingwood, you tell them that you like Collingwood as well. If they say chillax, you say chillax. And that was all we were taught. We weren't really taught, and I wasn't training my staff in anything other than rapport is about using the words. Shared experiences. If they say they grew up in Melbourne, you say you've been to Melbourne. If they, you try and find some sort of common experience, but it's still all about words. What was being missed so often is physiology and tonality. So we're going to have a look at this. It says, when people are like each other, they like each other. Now, you will be in rapport with people that you like. You'll be in rapport with people that you want to be like. So if you were to meet your idol or someone you look up to for the first time, you'll be in rapport with them. Because you're like, I want to meet this person, or they're my idol, I'm a fan of theirs. And as soon as you be around them, you'll be in rapport with them. Now, it doesn't mean they'll be in rapport with you, but you'll be in rapport with them. And so rapport is a process of responsiveness. And so the process is, number one, rapport is established by mirroring and matching. So you want to mirror and match. The first thing you want to start with is mirror and matching physiology. So if I'm going to build rapport with people, let's say I'm going to build rapport with Willie right now, because Willie's in the front row, many of you can't see this, but he's got his hand to his face, in the same way I got my hand to my face. So this is going to improve my ability to build rapport with Willie, but only if Willie doesn't know that I'm doing it. Now, obviously he does know, so it doesn't build rapport. Sometimes if Willie becomes aware that I'm mimicking him, would mean that it reduces rapport. So you want to mirror and match physiology as much as you can. However, with using hand gestures and your feet, so if I'm working with someone and they come in and they cross their legs, and they've worked with me enough and they know I never cross my legs, and all of a sudden I cross my legs, they might think, that's a bit weird for Shane, I never see him like that. So if the person we're trying to build rapport with becomes aware that we're mirroring and matching them, it can reduce rapport. So what we want to do is mirror and match in a way their physiology that is very difficult to detect. And so the most powerful way to mirror and match physiology is to look at the way that they're breathing. And to breathe the way that they're breathing. So when you breathe the way that they're breathing and you blink when they blink, it's very hard to detect the other person is mirror and matching your blinking and your breathing. Because when you blink, they blink, and you can't see that. And it's very difficult to notice that they're breathing the same way that you're breathing. And so it's one way to fall in rapport with the other person very quickly. So when somebody gets into their seat, when you have a client that sits down with you, one of the first things I'm going to encourage you to do is start to notice how they breathe. Now, all you want to do is breathe out when they breathe out and breathe in when they breathe in. Now, Hochelaar is really useful because you don't want to be looking at someone's chest when you're about to work with them. So Hochelaar is really useful because you'll be making eye contact, but you're picking up on the change in their shirt or in their blouse or in their t-shirt, whatever's going on. And you can see the change. If you look at their stomach level, you'll see a lot of people's stomach move in and out. And that gives you some indication as to when they're breathing out, when they're breathing in. Now, you only align yourself to build rapport at the start, because once you establish rapport, you've got it until you break it. But if you don't break it, then you'll always have it. I'm saying that because I don't want you to feel like you need to mirror and match their breathing the entire time, because you don't. You just need to build rapport at the start for maybe 10 seconds. Once you have it, as long as you maintain it, you'll have rapport. Now, there could be things that happen when you break rapport. Has anyone ever been pissed off at a loved one before? Anyone been pissed off? Just me? No, you guys as well? You break rapport with people. You break rapport with your loved ones. Or you're like, oh, just get out of my way, or oh, stop talking to me, or leave me alone. You've broken rapport with that person. But you're going to come back around and you're going to build back rapport at some point. For many of you would anyway. And so you can break rapport with your client and then you need to build it back again. If you have enough rapport, you could swear at your client and get away with it. If you don't have much rapport, you do one thing wrong and all of a sudden you've got conflict. And so the idea is to have as much rapport as possible. You had a question before? No, that's all good? Okay. So the major elements of rapport with physiology is posture, as you can see in the diagram down the bottom. Posture, gesture. So if someone's gesturing a lot, you might gesture more often. If they use a particular gesture, you're like, oh, you just get that feeling. Then you can make that same gesture for them to understand what you're talking about. Breathing, as we already spoke about, and expressions. So these are the things you can mirror and match. Mirroring means that you are, when they are lift up there, so their left hand, you lift up your right hand, the same way it would look like in a mirror. Matching means you lift up your left hand, then they lift up their left hand, which wouldn't look like in a mirror. Does that make sense? So whether you're mirroring or whether you're matching, it doesn't matter. So if they lift up their hand, you don't have to go, oh, should I lift up my left or my right? Doesn't matter, just lift up a hand. So that's what I say, mirroring, matching. So one's not more powerful than another. Now there's another thing which is important to know, and that's a thing called crossover mirroring and matching. So rather than me blink when Mark is blinking, every time Mark is blinking, I might just tap my pen. So Mark blinks, I tap my pen. I wait for him to blink again, then I tap my pen. I'm not blinking, but it's called crossover mirroring and matching. So there's some sort of rhythm that I'm using every time I'm seeing a physiological shift with my client. So you don't always have to do everything exactly like the other person. It's just a more advanced way of doing mirroring and matching in a way that is undetectable. Then we have tonality. And so tonality is volume, speed, quality, and tone. So this is the next part. So once you have mirror and matched physiology, we're then going to move to tonality. So if you're speaking to someone that starts to slow down and just like to find their way through their words, then you want to slow down your pace as well. If someone's really excited and energetic, then you want to lift your energy and be as excited as them. So this is where we come back to one of those 14 laws of success, the law of requisite variety, behavioral flexibility. It's about how can I communicate my client's model of the world rather than forcing my client into my model of the world. How can I mirror and match their tonality? If they speak fast, can I speak fast? If they speak slow, can I speak slow? If they speak softly, can I speak softly? If they speak loudly, can I speak loudly? And so you just want to mirror and match tonality. Is there anyone here that ever has to talk to someone, or maybe customers that get irate or unhappy? Anyone deal with unhappy customers? Yep. So there's a really cool technique where what you want to do, I used to work in managed call centers, and one of the things I taught my staff to do was if they had an irate customer, they would keep the same tonality that the client had, so the customer had. So the customer like, you would not believe how long I've been on hold for. What are you guys doing there? I am so pissed off. I am going to cancel all my services. Like they are annoyed to the hilt. Then I would train my staff to use the same tonality. Say, you're absolutely right, sir. I'm here to help you right now. So what is it that I can do for you right now? And what they would do is they keep the same intensity, but they would use calming words. So the tonality would match the customer, but they would use calming words. And what it would do is it would bring the customer down most often. Has anyone here been angry before and the other person has been laughing? Has anyone had an experience like that? Did that make it better or worse for you? Worse, right? Because you're out of rapport. You would not be laughing if you knew what I knew. Like, you feel completely misunderstood. But if someone is upset as what you are, but now they're using calming words, you feel like they understand you. And so you're more likely to diffuse the situation. And so that's the power of tonality. If you can mirror and match tonality, now again, over the phone, you miss out on physiology. There is no physiology. You can't pick up on that at all. So you're only left with tonality. What a lot of people do is they try to use soothing words. Like the customer's on the phone going, I cannot believe how long I've been on hold. And the other person's like, yes, sir, I'm here to help you. And the person's like, you do not understand. Because they're out of rapport. And so when you use the same tonality but calming words, it'll help the other person calm down.